University of Miami School of Law is officially on my list. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's freaking tour day. It's tour day, and I'm super excited to be touring the University of Miami School of Law. And I have a special treat for you all. I will be meeting with a 1L after the tour to kind of get the real tea on the school, you know. And so I had people ask questions for her on my Instagram story. So if you're not already following me on Instagram, make sure you are doing so. And so stay tuned. I'm about to drive there now. It's about a 38-minute drive. I think I have time to get Starbucks too. So I think we're gonna do that, maybe. And I'll check in when I get there. There's like 3 different places I can park. So that should be interesting, trying to find parking. I looked on my maps and I'm going to attempt to park at the closest place near the library. I'm going to assume that parking is going to be very limited there anyways, but when you're a child of God, you know, he just be looking out. So let's see what happens. But I will check in with you guys once I arrive, and it should be a pretty exciting and eventful day. I was doing all of that about being on time, and let me just say, why is this Starbucks line this long? Like, hi, can I do a grande caramel ribbon crunch frappuccino with extra caramel drizzle? And may I also a butter croissant warmed?
Alrighty, so unfortunately we're actually out of butter croissants.
Okay, that'll be all.
Alrighty, now we can go for
This location is always out of butter croissants. I can't tell you a time when I've come here and they had butter croissants. Like, last time I was here was maybe January or December. Y'all still don't got butter croissants? Like, who's in charge of the inventory? Who's in charge?
To Miami Law and will hire specifically out of the law school.
The tour is over. I don't know if you guys can hear me, but I'm about to eat some lunch and actually study on the grounds of the law school for the LSAT, because that is how we manifest, okay? And so I'm just gonna eat. I got some Pollo Tropical and some water because it's very much hot today. And I'm gonna study while I wait on Dominique to get to campus. And yeah, I can't wait to do a recap more towards the end of this video of my overall thoughts on the school and things I like, things I didn't like, but we're getting somewhere. Let me show y'all my food. Hello, I am I'm here with Miss Dominique, finally.
Hello, yes, yesterday got crazy.
And so we're just gonna go over a few questions that you guys had from Instagram. So if you're not following me already and would like to, participate and have your questions answered next time, make sure you're doing so. And I will also leave her Instagram and TikTok in the description box below. But we're gonna start off real easy. Someone wanted to know, what is your favorite thing about UM Law?
I think my favorite thing about UM Law is that the teachers try to teach us more in a practice-minded way. So when I was talking to my other friends at different law schools, they learn the law very theory-based, which is that's kind of normal for law school. But for me, I feel like I have teachers that really take the time to try to tell us exactly how that implements in practice. So I have one teacher, my crim pro teacher, will assign roles in class, and someone's the defense attorney, someone's the prosecutor, and then someone's a judge, and you assess the fact pattern in the hypo, and each person presents the different sides of the law and the arguments made for it, and then the person that's a judge decides if they're going to grant or deny a motion. And so that's the way that it practiced in real life. And then a lot of my teachers try to do the teaching that way, and I find that most helpful.
So with all good, there is some bad. Someone wants to know, what is something you dislike about the school or that's a turnoff? And you can't say nothing.
I was about to say, I really don't have that much. I guess the only thing that's kind of surface level is there's no real 24-hour place to study. So I don't know how that compares to other law schools though, but I know last week I was trying to stay on campus longer to write my brief, and they were it was 11 p.m. and they're we're closing. And I'm well, what? Where do you go now?
Oh.
I can't go home. I'm not gonna get my work done. So that would be the only thing I have that I can think of right now.
Okay. What is something you look forward to doing in the future that you're not permitted to as a 1L currently?
Actually working, because you can't work as a 1L. If you didn't know that, that's something you should factor and consider if you're going to go to law school. But you're not allowed to work as a 1L unless some situations you can get permission from the dean to still work. But I'm more interested in actually working in what I want to do for my actual career, so that's what I am looking forward to.
And someone wanted you to touch base on the competitiveness or the culture at UM, in specific, how competitive the job search was when it came to securing a summer job.
So the competitiveness in the classroom, obviously you're in class with a lot of really smart people. Some people had full careers before starting law school. Some people worked in law firms for 5+ years, or worked in finance or investment banking. There's a lot of smart people you're going to be in class with. Also, something that I didn't realize before, there are international students that are coming to just get their law degree to practice in the US. So they've practiced law and might have had their own firms and stuff in other countries, and they're in class with you too. So it's competitive, but at UM the environment's really welcoming. I know that my classmates, if I ask them, hey, I missed this day, do you have notes for this? Most people that I've interacted with, and my friends at least, we look out for each other, we study together, we help each other. So nobody in my experience has been I'm not going to help you understand that, I'm not going to help you do this. Everyone's been very helpful. So that I would say is really good, because I think a lot of law schools, you hear horror stories about people hiding notes or not sharing outlines. We share outlines. If I get an outline, I send it to my friends. We make outlines together sometimes. The law, I feel works best when you're collaborative. But for the job search, it is really competitive. So you want to think about Miami has maybe 4 law schools, I think, here. I can't think of all. I know it's FIU, UM, yeah, it's St. Thomas,
Nova.
And then Nova. I think it's just the 4. Yeah, but 4 is a lot of law schools. So all the firms and the job opportunities that are in the city are pulling from all 4 schools. So
I didn't even think about that.
yeah, I was gonna say it's competitive, but the law is the legal field is a relationship industries. So like if you take the time to network and like let people get to know you, then like when you're applying for these jobs, when somebody on the inside knows who you are, they're more likely to be able to vouch for you better and advocate that you get hired. So that's like the way you could navigate that. But it is definitely competitive, especially if you want to work big law. Like that's really, really competitive and really hard to get.
And another question. What?
I was gonna say, for those that don't know what big law is, like that's basically like the really big law firms. They have international locations, like multiple practice areas, and those are like the jobs that like pay 30,000-40,000 for a summer. So like that's why they're really competitive.
Someone wanted to know what it was like transitioning from an HBCU to a PWI, and have you struggled finding your people, like your little circle of friends?
Yeah, so transferring from or leaving Howard and going to PWI was something I was really, really concerned about. But honestly, the transition was a lot smoother than I expected. Like I really thought that like I was gonna have to pay attention to like when I want to change my hair or when I wear braids or I want to do this, and it really was just not a big deal. Like nobody makes a big deal out of it. I haven't had anybody like tell me anything weird about my hair. Like, you know, black women like to change their hair a lot, so like I haven't had any issues with that. But finding like my friends, I would say like it just takes time. But like that's like making friends as an adult. Like it's different than when you're an undergrad, because like, you know, sometimes in undergrad you make friends with people because you see them at the same party all the time, or like y'all were roommates, and like you're an adult now. Like I live by myself now, so I don't have a roommate anymore. Like it just takes time to build a natural relationship. But I will say like in law school, some people like try to make friends really, really fast, and I just kind of took the approach of like figuring people out and like taking time to make my friends. So now the friends I have now, we are really good friends, and we're close, and like these are people I know I'm gonna be friends with the rest of my life. But it just takes time to build that. So I would say like don't go into law school expecting to instantaneously like make a group of friends. Like just spend time getting to know people, because some people in law school are weird. Like, I'm not gonna lie. It's like some components of law school are really high school, and I'm not interested in that. So me and my friends don't have those problems.
And you touched a little bit on roommates. One of the last questions I got, and I'll kind of make it into one full question instead of two, is they wanted to know more about housing and the affordability of it. And being that Miami is such a really big city,
I was about to say.
and inflation has impacted a lot of people around the world, have you had to experience anything that has affected you in that way?
Okay, I will.
They got in depth with these questions.
I was about to say they did, because I will answer that question like, but I have to frame it in like I am very blessed and fortunate. Like my dad pays all my bills and my rent and like my car. Like that's not a secret. Anyone who knows me, like I don't act like I have any of that together. Like I don't. Right. My dad was just like, you're in school, I'm gonna fund your life while you're in school, and when you get out of school, you're on your own. So I personally don't have to worry about paying my rent and paying my bills, but I'm not selfish or inconsiderate, so it is something I think about, because Miami rent is ridiculous right now. But that is something I know that my friends are weighing and considering really heavily too, like the rent increases and the spikes. Like that's something you do have to consider, because if you do apply for FAFSA and you do apply for loans, they do factor in your living expenses. So the expectation I know is that people's FAFSAs are going to increase to cover the extra living expenses. But obviously on the back end of that means you have more student loans to pay back on the back end. So it is something you have to consider. But for me personally, that wasn't a component that like impacted my law school decision. But I'm on a full scholarship at UM, so I only have to pay, like my dad's only paying for rent and living expenses. So like that's something that makes a difference also. But yeah, you do have to factor in the cost of living when you choose a law school. So Miami is really crazy right now. So if you are not willing to pay out of pocket or add that to your loans, then this might not be where you want to live, unless you want to commute like an hour plus to school every day.
Yeah, when I was on the tour guide said that his 1L year, he had a friend that was commuting 3 hours from Jupiter.
Yeah.
And they had to convince him, like, you can't keep doing that.
Yeah, I was
Like-
gonna say, you definitely have to weigh that in, because if you want to do it, fine. Like, there's cheaper places to live in, like Fort Lauderdale, like Broward, like up north Miami, but you're gonna be commuting really, really far. And I will say, like, for me personally, I live 5 minutes away from school, so I take one street to get to campus, and I take one street to get back home, and I don't get stuck in traffic. It literally takes me 10 minutes. I can go home in the middle of the day if I want to. So that's something I appreciate, but my rent is ridiculous. Like, I'm not even gonna to expose myself.
Google it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I live in Coral Gables. You can Google how much rent is in Coral Gables right now, but yeah, it's crazy. So you have to weigh what's important to you. Also, Brickell is not much better. Like, Brickell is really expensive too, and if you're gonna pay to live in Brickell, you're gonna be commuting 30, 45 minutes to an hour because of traffic.
Right.
So you might as well just pay the rent and
Pick
live
your
in Coral
poison.
Gables. Yeah, like, there's pros and cons to each
Right.
situation, but every situation is different, and you have to assess the facts. Like, you learn that in law school. So it's all personal.
Those are all the questions that I had for my Instagram, but if there's anything additional you want to say, or any advice you want to give to anyone that's going through this process and on their way to law school, what would you like to say to them?
I guess I would say, like what I told you earlier, you need to, like, factor in what's important to you on the ranking of your law school, like, choice selecting a law school, because there's a lot of different factors that can weigh more for other people than for you. So, like, for me, like I said, I told you earlier, I didn't want to go to law school and pay for it. I wanted to get a full ride, and I wanted to go for free. So when I got my acceptances in the mail, then it ranked, like, who gave me the full, who gave me partial money, who gave me no money, and then that helped cut a lot of schools off my list. So that was something important to me. And then assessing the geographic region the law school is in, if you can live there full time, if you can see yourself staying in the area, and also, like, what programs that school offers. Is it something that you're interested in? Is it something that you can see yourself doing, or do they have a wide variety of options? So if you don't know what you want to do, you have the flexibility to explore multiple different programs that school might have. So I think those are all factors that you should consider. But it can't just be like, you can't really consider one factor and not the others. Like, it's all kind of together. But yeah, that's what I would say. Like, look at the big picture and try to think outside of just the scope of, like, 3 years of law school, because your law school choice is going to impact your entire career trajectory, to be honest. Like, not to scare anyone, but, like, that's true.
Well, thank you for doing this for me. If you guys have any additional questions or just want to reach out to her in general, like I said, I'll leave her information in the description box below.
Yeah, and I try to get back to everybody, but like you said, you messaged my law school page. I don't. Law school got too busy. I don't go on that page anymore.
I was like, she probably does not.
Yeah, I
go
was
on
gonna say,
this.
I made that over the summer when I had free time.
Right.
Now I'm like, I only go on my personal Instagram for the most part. So if y'all are trying to contact me, just message my personal Instagram. I do check, like, my DMs on there and stuff.
So I just wanted to wrap up this vlog. First and foremost, I want to say University of Miami School of Law is officially on my list. Like, that tour was everything that I needed to solidify that this is a school that I do want to pursue. I don't know if I was using Google properly, or like my eyes were just skipping over all the things they had to offer on their website, but some of the things mentioned during the tour that definitely sparked my interest was, like, they have a innocence clinic and a human rights clinic and children and youth. I love the kids. Since I've graduated, I've always done work that had to do with juveniles or infants in our community, and so things like that really sparked my interest. So when I came back from the tour, I'm on their website and I'm going through the different courses they offer, and I'm like, wow, I really like this. I'm very interested in these classes and what they have to offer. Something I did really like about the School of Law was that it was on the main campus. So, you know, you felt included with the culture And speaking of culture, everyone was so nice. They were just stopping our tour group, saying hi, introducing themselves. I'm like, y'all are showing out. Okay. Okay. And so that was really great. Although the School of Law is on the main campus, I will say it's very small, almost like a game of four corners. Like, the law library is here, the classrooms are here. It was a box, you know? I mean, not a deal breaker, not a deal breaker at all. But if you're looking for something that is massive and more up to date, I don't know. We're here to learn. What do I know? But I would say it is pretty small and boxed off and pretty secluded. But the positive from that is that it is still on the main campus. So location, 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 location. What else do I have to say? It's Miami. Who wouldn't want to stay in Miami, honestly? Coming from Florida State University, go Noles, no girl for life. I just couldn't see myself going to a law school in a college town where there's nothing there. The mall sucks. The dining sucks. Like, I need things to do outside of school. Like, I'm sorry. So Miami is, everything's there. Everything's there. Although I may not have much time to do much of anything, at least I would have the option, you know? So location, location, location. Obviously, from hearing what Dominique had to say about housing, as we all know, is on the rise. But specifically in Miami, even before all of inflation and all of those things, housing in Miami is already expensive. So on top of inflation and whatever else is going on in the world, it's gonna cost. It's gonna cost a pretty penny, but that's okay. That's why I have a boyfriend. So, but no, seriously, that is something to consider. If you're thinking about UM, it's gonna cost you. So that may mean taking out more loans or making sure, you know, your scores are looking right so you can secure those scholarships, applying to outside scholarships, and so on and so forth. You're gonna have to come with the bag. Like, secure the bag and make it happen, most definitely. So yeah, I really just wanted to close out this vlog. University of Miami School of Law is officially on my school list. I really enjoyed the tour, and I'm quite frankly glad that I did do it. I was this close to not doing it, but I'm glad I did. There will be more law school tours to come. So if you enjoyed this video, please let me know down in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video.